Hi everybody, this is Dan Stolebarger. Welcome to this week's Middle East update, and we've got a ton of material, so make sure you get to our website holygroundexplorations.com to access the PDF PowerPoint, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to cover everything in the 10 minutes that I have for this YouTube, so check that out. I'm going to talk a little bit about our Issachar tour coming up throughout this YouTube, because I think it's important for people to understand the Israel, not just the Israel of the Bible, but the Israel of today. We have a tour coming up September 15th through the 24th. Again, website, check out the details. Very important for believers to understand what in the heck is going on and not allow the media to shape your opinion. So let's take a look at what I call my musings for the week. It seems that there's just a lot of clutter, a lot of white noise when it comes to what's happening in the Middle East. We've got, let's think, we've got Iran threats about Iran, the U.S., we've of course got Hamas threatening to bomb Eurovision, we've got Israel, we've got Napka Day, and we get our weekly dose of Omar and Ralib. I say to myself, no comments about these women this week, and then inevitably I have to. More about that. It seems that the Middle East is just one big powder keg, waiting to see what's going to trigger it. And it should not surprise us, because it's exactly what good old Zechariah had to say when he said, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness for all the nations. It will be a heavy stone for them. It's a global hernia for the world. And it's just what Zechariah said. Our news bites for this week, there are those that would say poor education and poverty is what causes Islamic terrorism. But did you know that 9 of the Islamic terrorists that committed the bloody attack in Sri Lanka, most of them were highly educated and were from upper middle class families? So much for that myth that poverty and poor education is the root of Islam. It's a legacy of hate. Islamic Jihad has said it's summer. When summer comes, keep your eyes on Gaza, war. We'll be tracking that. There was a video that was released from a Islamic school in Philadelphia where the children were singing a song, and of course it was in Arabic. Most people didn't understand what was being said, but there's been a huge backlash over this video because the children speaking in Arabic were singing about beheading Jews and liberating the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Of course, the Muslim groups have apologized for this video, pleading ignorance. Give me a break. All right. Excuse me. This week, well, let's start with the Iranian threat. Not sure what to say. We have to wait and see. I do know that Trump has responded. We've got aircraft carriers, bombers, all heading to the Middle East. We've got saber rattling back and forth, threats. We've heard of missiles being transported from Iran closer to Iraq, to U.S. Army bases. And we're going to have to wait and see what takes place. At the time of this recording, we're not sure. But from Israel's standpoint, they're on alert, because usually, because of the pressure that the U.S. is putting on Iran, Iran usually, or up to this point, has not struck the U.S. It uses its proxies to strike Israel. That's what this last rocket launches, 700 of them from Islamic Jihad, from Hamas, from Gaza, took place. It's all about Iran's retaliating against the U.S. And so Israel is on alert. And as you know, if a rocket comes from Iran into Israel, it's on. More on that. Again, as I mentioned, too many articles, holygroundexploration.com. You need to read for yourself. So there's more articles on that. Of course, then we've got the two gals, Tlaib and Omar. And again, Tlaib's comment, the calming feeling that she gets when she is reminded of the Holocaust. And oh boy, do we have a mess on our hands when it comes to all of this. She goes on to say that that the Holocaust gave her a calming feeling and humbled her because it reminded her that the suffering of the Palestinians had provided a safe haven to the Jews. Tlaib goes on to assert that the Palestinians were the innocent victims who have to pay this tremendous price for European and anti-Semitism. Bottom line, she's saying we didn't have anything to do with the Holocaust. Lie, lie, and more lies. Do your homework, understand with the Arabs how they aligned themselves with Hitler when it came to the Holocaust, okay? Enough said. You're gonna find an article here from Yad Vashem in response to all of this. Take the time. I don't have time to read it. Take the time to read that. And then, of course, we have Omar, and it's so smooth. Listen what she says. She asked rhetorically, how many rockets must be fired and little kids must be killed until the endless cycle of violence ends, speaking of Gaza? This implies that these war crimes are justified by what she calls, quote, the occupation and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Whoa, stop. The occupation of Gaza? Does Omar not realize that Israel ended the occupation of Gaza in 2005? Ariel Sharon brought them all out. You know, Gaza could have become the Singapore of the Med, but instead they turned it into one huge rocket launcher. Give me a break. Know your facts and your history, Omar. Don't rewrite it for us. And these women have become the darling of our late night talk shows. Wake up. Again, this is that Issachar moment. Understand what's going on. Don't let the media shape your opinion of all of this. Be like the sons of Issachar. Again, articles, as I've talked about, blowback from what Tlaib had to say. Yad Vashem chimes in. Please educate yourself. Nabka Day came on Wednesday. Nabka is again the idea of catastrophe, where Israel celebrates its birth as a nation. The Arabs, on the other hand, mourn the fact of this catastrophe. We heard reports that there would be hundreds of thousands that were on the Gaza fence. It was only tens of thousands, so it was not as bad as what was anticipated. That's a good thing. But as I said before, we have to be cautious because the Eurovision event that's taking place in Tel Aviv, hundreds of thousands of people are there. And of course, Hamas is threatening, for whatever reason, to send rockets into Tel Aviv. And so because it's the big weekend, festivities have not begun. We're going to have to wait and see if that's a part of Nabka Day for them as well. There's an article about Jibril Rajab. You can read for yourself. Again, the hypocrisy of the Palestinians, you know, despite the fact that they've recently announced that it would end all medical care for Palestinians in Israel. One of their leading political figures, Jibril Rajab, sick, probably with cancer. Where is he getting treatment? Tel Aviv Hospital. There's an article here on young Arabs and their views. Take that in. A good article on the political left in the U.S. and their stance on the Bible. Take that in. And then something I'll just end with, because I'm out of time. I call it Now You Know. You know, we get to this concept of the ultimate peace plan, sitting down, olive branches being expressed back and forth. You have to understand why this will never happen. Here's the mandate. Listen to the words. Allah is our objective. The Prophet is our leader. The Quran is our law. Jihad is our way. Dying in the way of Allah is our highest hope and goal. You want to extend an olive branch and cobble together a peace treaty with people that have dedicated their lives to annihilate the Jewish people. That's our report for this week. God bless you. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Shalom.